everybody, Grant Miller here, Miami Community Newspapers with Miami-Dade. I just finished eating. Frank's on time. I'm with Miami-Dade County Solid Waste Frank Calderon.
Yes,
is that correct?
That's correct.
But Calderon, where's that from?
Well, my parents are originally from Cuba, but I guess
Havana or Camagüey?
Actually, both. Father from Camagüey and my mom from Havana.
Okay, then you're safe.
Yes.
All right, so we were just talking before the show. You were born where?
I was born in Indiana.
Indiana.
Yes.
How'd your parents end up in Indiana?
To this day, I can get them to tell me about the birds and bees before I can get them to tell me about how Cubans ended up in Indiana.
So how many Cubans were there in Indiana?
There were a few. We were related to most of them.
Oh, okay. So you moved to Miami in
72.
1970.
Season.
And where'd you go to elementary school? Where'd you go to?
I went to Fairlawn Elementary School. I went to Kinloch Park Junior High School, and I went to South Miami Cobras, just down the road from here. So that's where I went.
This is your hood.
Yes.
Okay. How long you been working with solid waste?
I have been with solid waste since 2009, shortly after my son was born.
How many children you got?
One.
Okay. Some questions we're going to review. How do you detox your house?
How do you detox your house? Well, all right, we have that campaign, the Detox Your House campaign for Home Chemical. It was kind of a play off of, or a riff off of the whole detoxification movement for health that people take during specialties and stuff like that. Detoxing your house basically is taking old chemicals like pesticides or herbicides that you may have forgotten about that are lying in the corner somewhere. And
old paint,
old paint, stuff like that, and taking them to one of our two permanent home chemical collection centers.
And where are they?
One of them is in Doral. Off the top of my head, it's
that's right. One in Doral. Where's the other one?
Well, the other one's in South Dade, right on the campus of the South Dade landfill.
We all have it. You go home, and if you clean your garage, you must have not you, but 10 cans of paint that are 5 years old, and then you got old empty tanks. That's what you mean. Just get all that extra stuff, clean it out.
Yes.
And what does that do for your house?
Well, it keeps it out of your house, especially, latex paints aren't generally that dangerous, but it keeps them out of your house. It keeps it out of the waste stream. It keeps it out of the environment. It keeps it from, say, seeping into the Biscayne Aquifer, which is our drinking water source. I'll say, since we were talking about paints, that with paints, you have a couple different options. With latex paints, you can, if they're still in good shape, you could probably donate them to some charitable group that might be able to use the paint. You can bring it to us in liquid form if it's in liquid form. Or you can, if it's not dry, you can also choose to take the lid off for a couple of days, let the paint dry. And if that's the case with that type of situation, when the latex paint that's dry, you can just throw that in the garbage.
So we have two home chemical collection places.
Yes.
Do they charge you when you drop the stuff off?
Nope, and they're open to all Miami-Dade County residents. You do not need to necessarily be a customer of ours. It can be anybody that lives in Miami-Dade County.
That's great. I think we all need to do it anyway, just to clean your house.
Yes.
I mean, I laugh because I see people's garage. I go, what is that? Oh, that paint from what?
From 19.
You're right, exactly. 72. We don't use that paint anymore. Okay. Light bulbs.
Light bulbs.
Like in our office, when we change our light bulbs, we go, what do you do with them? So we have, when we walk out, you see them, they're all stacked, and we don't know what to do with them. Do you put them in recycle? Do you put them in trash? What do you do with big light bulbs?
Well, light bulbs, especially in the case of fluorescent light bulbs. I do have to say, sorry, nothing personal against you guys, but we can't take yours because it has to be residential.
Okay,
we can't take the stuff you have here from the office.
Okay, so what?
Residentially, we do take at our home chemical collection centers. We do take fluorescent bulbs. We take the CFLs, the little curly Q ones. Although people aren't using those as much anymore. Fluorescent bulbs have to be handled special because they contain mercury.
Right.
And that can be harmful to the environment. That can be harmful to somebody in their house. I think we have a link from our website on how to properly dispose of it. It's quite elaborate what the EPA recommends. You have to shut your windows and shut your door and use tape to remove the broken pieces of glass. And it's very elaborate. Wear a mask because the mercury, you don't want to breathe that in. So and you don't want that in the environment. I should note also that we're not the only, for certain things, including fluorescent bulbs, we're not the only game in town, because I understand, we have 2 locations and it may not be the closest place. A lot of the home improvement stores will accept fluorescent bulbs, with the caveat I give you of checking first. Don't assume. Don't go up there with, hey, I've got all these fluorescent bulbs from home, to your nearest Home Depot or Lowe's or other or Ace Hardware or whatever, and you guys take them, right? And then they tell you no. Check first. And if they say that they'll take them, then yes, there are places that'll take them besides our site.
Hey, Tom, make sure we have some watch parties going.
Yeah.
Okay, the Shady Tree Mechanic. What is that?
The Shade Tree Mechanic, the guy that's not as prevalent nowadays. Cars are like half computer now. If you're a computer whiz, you could probably fix your car better than a mechanic can nowadays. But older cars, some people like to fix their own cars, and then they're stuck with 5 quarts of used motor oil.
Yeah, I see people. They think they're mechanics. They jack the car up in their driveway that they shouldn't be doing anyway, and they're popping oil out.
Yes, that used motor oil can be brought to our home chemical collection centers. We also have our TRCs, the drop-off sites. We have 13 of those. Not all of them will accept motor oil, but a lot of them do. You can check our website, miamidade.gov/solid waste, and they'll take the motor oil at some of those sites. And also, some of the used auto parts or some of the auto parts places. Just check first always, though. Don't assume.
I'm sure you drive through the neighborhood, you see these guys, you go, they're pouring in the ground, they're pouring in the canals. It's terrible.
That's a big no-no. That's they can. I think they can get fined. That's another department that what used to be DERM, they're now part of RARE. I believe that they enforce that. You can get fined. But aside from that, our drinking water, the Biscayne Aquifer, starts like basically the surface of the ground. So if people don't realize that oil, it'll go right into
if you pour it into the storm surge,
same thing,
and then top it all, and then it goes out to the bay.
And that eventually, especially the places that are close to the bay, that's more true there, but it still eventually works its way into the water system, and it's all connected. So,
okay, pesticides, all that stuff. Let's talk about that.
Yes, we take all these old pesticides. I can't say used, because once they're used, they're just gone.
Right.
But the old pesticides that may have expired or that you don't want anymore, we'll take them at the home chemical.
Well, it's like centers. We buy fertilizer, and there's the bags in the ground. You go to Home Depot and you buy 5 of them because they're on sale, and 3 of them are still sitting there rotting away. What should we do?
You can take it to one of our home chemical collection centers, and guess what? If it's in good shape still, we also have. I'm gonna mention that now, the Chemigan Pro. I can get into that a little more later, or talk about it now.
Talk about it right now.
The Chemigan program, which actually, I'm sorry, let me backpedal a little bit here. It's been temporarily suspended because of COVID, but we had this program, and hopefully, once COVID is gone and it's not a big issue, we'll be able to reopen it, where stuff that's in good condition that's brought into us, we make it available on a first-come, first-served basis to county residents. But unfortunately, that part of the program has been suspended temporarily. But in the meantime, we'll still take it, and we'll make sure it gets handled properly.
All right, used phones.
Used phones. That's a big one.
I mean, it's funny because I go into my drawer. I got phones from 20 years ago. You think that are still good? They're outdated, and are they? What should we do with them? Should we put them in the trash? Should we put them in recycling?
No, they should not go in the trash or in the blue recycling bin. Why? Because they're not equipped for handling that, and they contain certain materials that can be harmful to the environment, but also materials that can be recovered and recycled, basically, and reused, but not in our recycling program, because our recycling program handles different materials. The phones can be brought to our home chemical collection centers. They accept the electronic waste, including old phones. The phones can also be brought to certain of our TRCs. We have 13
What's TRCs?
Centers. That's the drop-off sites, which are not necessarily home chemical sites themselves. They take, like, when you work on your backyard all Saturday, Sunday morning, you decide to go to one of these places to drop off the stuff you chopped up from your backyard.
Right.
Some of them will accept check first, though. That's my caveat. Check first. As to which sites we'll take the electronics there as well. There are places you can actually do a search online and find places that will take old phones besides us. And there are, as I understand it, there are actually places that'll take old phones, and if they're still working, they will provide the phones free of charge to, like women in shelters and stuff like that.
Wow.
To call 911, because that's part of your phone bill, by the way, to be able to call 911. And they'll take those phones, and they can't be used for anything else, but they can call 911 in an emergency. And I've heard stories online, through video and stuff like that, of people whose lives were actually saved. Women who were being attacked by an ex, and she had this phone and called 911, and 911 came, police came, and basically saved her life.
Wow. So the next thing, Super Bowl came around. Everybody went and bought a big television. Now they have the old television, and they can't get rid of it. Do you put it in recycle? Do you put it in the trash? What do you do with big TVs?
No. Should not go in recycle or the trash. It can come to our home chemical collection centers. It can be brought to one of our, again, not all of them accept, not all 13 of the TRCs accept electronic waste, but we have several that will accept old TV sets. You can also check some of the electronic stores might take them back. Again, check first. Don't assume. Check first, because you don't want to show up with this old, I got this huge 50-something inch TV set. It weighs a ton. You guys take it, and you walk in the store, and they say no.
Right.
So check first.
So, old gas. People that have boats, people that have old lawnmowers, they don't put it. They can't use it. It's been sitting in the garage for a year, 2 years.
It's lacquer almost.
Right. Exactly. What should they do?
They can bring it to our home chemical collection centers. We will take it there.
That collection center takes care of a lot of stuff.
Yes, they do take a lot of stuff. I should say that there's some limits on, like with gasoline, they can only, I don't know off the top of my head, but they can bring a few gallons. But they'll take them there at the home chemical.
Vitamin D. I'm thinking of vitamin D. Batteries that are D.
Batteries. Okay,
Those are the
batteries.
Those are the big ones.
Batteries are a little bit confusing. Sometime in the 1990s, I believe Congress passed a law that basically said stop making the typical disposable battery with mercury in it. So the AA, the AAA, the C, the D, and I think the 9-volt as well,
Right.
can be thrown in the garbage without any problems.
Recycling.
No, not recycling. In the regular garbage.
Regular
no
garbage.
Problems. No issues, because they don't make them with mercury anymore. Now, when we get into a tricky area, cell phone batteries, hearing aid batteries, which nowadays they're not just for hearing aids anymore. A lot of electronic devices use these smaller, the weird batteries that are like a weird shape.
Right.
Some of them look like a quarter. Some of them look like a
Yes.
little pencil eraser type of thing. Those lithium batteries, rechargeable batteries, those batteries should be brought to our home chemical collection center. Or again, if you can't make it to one of the sites, please don't put it in the garbage. Please don't put it in the blue recycling cart. But check, there's some battery stores that will take these as well. Check with them first. Otherwise, you can bring it to our home chemical collection center.
How much recycle? Do you know offhand how much recycling pounds you have? Do you know?
From the home chemical collection center, they sent me that information. I looked at it. Poof. It's a lot. I can tell you it's a lot. They do have a few thousand people bring in materials on a regular basis, on a yearly basis. And we're talking, I want to say an order of magnitude of about a few 100,000 pounds off the top of my head.
Wow.
But, I don't know the exact.
So we have to be careful when at home. Anything in your garage, people, if it's in your garage, be careful. It just doesn't go in recycling, whether it's batteries, paint, old gasoline, light bulbs. Just can't put it into the recycling.
Exactly.
You got to be careful if you have questions. What's the phone number? What webpage can they go to?
Miami-Dade.gov/solid waste, and they can find home chemical collection centers there, and that will include information on what materials can be brought in. For certain of the items that I mentioned, like the electronics, the used motor oil, some of those things you can also check the trash and recycling centers on our website, because we have more of those in their different locations, and some of them will accept it. Again, not all 13 will.
Is that correct right there?
materials.
Right over there. Learn more.
Let me see. Miami-Dade.gov/solid waste. Yes, that
Perfect.
is our
Thank you,
website.
Tommy. All right. So, people, when you're in your garage, again, just don't put in recycling. Make sure you have, if you have any questions, go to Miami-Dade's Solid Waste. You know, people that pour it into the ground, they just don't realize sooner or later that's the water we're drinking. It gets down. And if you put it into the storm drains,
Yes.
it'll affect our drinking, and whatever solid goes out to the ocean or bay. Correct?
More or less, yes.
So what's the most interesting thing about your job?
What's the most interesting? I get to do live shows in a studio. I actually enjoy doing
Okay, now, Frank,
doing that sort of thing.
this is the real test.
Okay,
You ready?
I'm ready.
How long you
Ready's
been in
all
Miami? How long you been in Miami?
Oof, 1972. Minus 4 years for the Army, I should say.
Oh, thank you for serving.
You're welcome.
And Tommy, how many years you serve?
8 total.
And now he thinks he's serving here at community newspapers. All right, ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Your favorite burger? Where?
Where? Well, there used to be more of these. They used to pop up like mushrooms a few years ago. Five Guys.
They're still around. Your favorite sushi restaurant?
I don't like sushi.
I don't either. Okay. You have one child. Birthday.
Yes. Birthday. Okay, his birthday is coming up in March.
March, right?
Yes.
Wife?
Her birthday's also in March.
Good answer. You're safe. Your favorite taco place?
Favorite taco place? There used to be this place on Kendall Drive. They closed up a few months ago.
You haven't been there lately.
No.
Okay, your favorite football team?
Oh, the Dolphins.
Who do you think they're going to draft?
I have no idea.
Okay. You went to South Miami High School. Just want to make sure. Your favorite pizza place?
Oh, I like the Big Cheese. They make good pizza.
They're the
A
best.
lot of people don't think of them for pizza. They think of them as just, the other Italian food. They make good. There are three places I think here that make really good. Miami's Best Pizza, the Big Cheese, and Casola's in the Grove.
Big Cheese, locally owned guys.
Yes.
And you're right. Big Cheese is not just pizza, but they do have great pizza.
Yes.
Okay. When you go out, where's your favorite place to eat chicken?
My favorite place to eat chicken. My son loves, and he doesn't like the chicken. He likes rice and beans. He likes both Pollo Tropical and he likes Chicken Kitchens.
Oh, good. Okay. As a kid, not in Indiana, who was your superhero?
My favorite was Superman.
Okay. As a little kid, what was your favorite Christmas gift?
Oh, a bike. I got a bike when I was right after we moved to Miami. It's about 8 years old.
Okay, good. Okay. Here's a new one we just started.
Okay.
Let me get the hat on right.
I only rode a horse once in my life. If that's a question.
Your favorite cowboy movie star or favorite cowboy movie?
John Wayne.
Okay. Got a movie?
Can't think of any movie.
You know my funniest cowboy movie? I can't remember. I forget the name. The three guys that lived in the city slickers. That's
Okay.
funny. That's
All right.
Your favorite hot dog place?
My favorite hot dog place, Arbetters.
Dave Arbetter, you hear that, buddy? Okay. Your favorite animal?
My favorite animal, a dolphin.
A dolphin, really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. 2 more questions. Did you have a New Year's resolution?
No, believe it or not, I don't. I just like to think that if I'm going to do something to prove myself, anytime, when I think of it is the best time to do it.
This is not a goldfish. This is a big fancy. Where do you eat fish when you go out?
I'm not a big fish person. Bonefish Grill is one place. The last time I went was a while back.
A lot of people haven't eaten out lately. Okay, next question. What's the magic of the mix? Why Solid Waste is doing a great job in the staff? What's the mix? Why is
the people, because they all come in, they're all dedicated, they're all committed to doing the best possible job they can, and to serving the community. Because most people take garbage collection for granted, but it is doesn't look good to have garbage lying around. But beyond that, it's actually a public health issue, if you think about it. Because if you have garbage just lying around on streets and stuff like that, it attracts rats, it attracts other vermin, and that brings with it diseases. So it's a very important job, and I think the people that work with with us at Solid Waste
Are dedicated people,
very dedicated.
dedicated county employees. I want to thank Frank Calderon.
Yes.
And my name's Grant Miller. If you have any questions about solid waste in Dade County, go to the webpage. Everybody have a great day.